Bonjour. Let's talk about accent marks in French. First of all, are they all that important to actually remember and use? And secondly, how do I insert them into Google Docs, Word, Canvas, and all those other things? Well, first of all, are accent marks important in French? Yes, extremely. Accent marks in French can really frequently determine the way that a word sounds. So a different accent mark might mean that it's pronounced in a different way. It can also determine what words are. For example, if two words look exactly the same, sound exactly the same, that's called a homonym. Those can be really confusing in French or English. Sometimes in French, those homonyms are different because one of them has an accent mark. Here's what I mean by that, just to show you. So, like, these words are both pronounced sur, but this sur means on top of something, and this sur means like sure, like I'm sure. In English, we wouldn't be able to tell those apart without an accent mark. French gives us a little accent so that we know that it's two different words. I wish we did that in English. I'll show you examples of English homonyms in a second. Ou means or, but if it has a little accent mark on the U, it means where. And here's one that I think's funny, pâtes, usually with an S on the end because we want pastas, plural, we want lots of noodles. Pâte means pasta. Pâté is spreadable meat, where they take goose liver, grind it down, make it into a yummy, it's not, I don't think it's yummy, but they make it into a yummy meat spread that's actually a French delicacy. So imagine going to the restaurant and you want pâtes, you want pastas, but you end up getting pâté. That would be awkward. Let me show you other homonyms. Here's what I mean. So like in English, the word band can mean like a rubber band, but also a group of people playing music together. Or the word can be like a physical thing that tomatoes come in, but also saying I can. So in English, you just have to know, whereas in French, some of them have accent marks to tell the difference. When you're spelling a word with accent marks, it also can affect the way it sounds. So you need to have the accent mark to have both the correct spelling and the correct pronunciation. So I'm a big fan of including accent marks because if you don't have the accent mark, you're technically not spelling the word correctly. The only exception is capital letters. So if you capitalize a letter, the accent mark is optional in French. So if you were saying à demain, that A with the accent on it would not be required if the A is capitalized because it's at the beginning of a sentence. So that's a freebie. Here are the 5 main accents that we'll be using in French. A little line going up is called an accent aigu. I think this is the right way to you. A little accent mark going up is an accent aigu. That means it's a sharp accent. Aigu means sharp or pointy. An accent mark going down, I don't know if you're seeing this the right way or if my camera's flipped, but an accent mark going down is called an accent grave. It is a grave, serious down accent. One that I like to call a party hat, a circumflex that goes over top of a letter is in English circumflex. You might have 2 dots on top of a letter called a tréma, and then some French C's have a little tail on the bottom called a cédille. Cédille. So we have accent aigu, accent grave, circonflexe, tréma, cédille. So an example of an aigu would be the E in identité. The E in problème has an accent grave. The O in hôpital has an accent circonflexe. The I with the 2 dots, naïve, that's a tréma. And then when you're saying comme ci, comme ça, that ça has a cédille on it. I've included in your notes the possible letters that you might see these on, what you might encounter with French. Not every vowel or letter gets an accent. And here's what I mean when they are important for sound. The letter E with an accent aigu goes E, like hey. So think of fiancé, or think of the singer Beyonce. That E on the end gets pronounced. If you forget it, then that person would just be fiancé, and that's sad. An E with an accent grave is pronounced eh, like in the word jet. So the word très, it's an open E, très. A lot of people think that it's pronounced très, and they say, oh, très bien. That's not right. It's more open. It's très, très. That's when I even say funny. Sometimes I accidentally pronounce it très, très. Fiancé, très. If you have an E with a circumflex, it sounds more like an eh. So a forest is forêt. It happens on other letters like A, I, O, U. And what it means is that sometimes it means that there used to be an S in that word after the accent mark. So hôpital is hospital. There used to be an S there. Forêt is forest. There used to be an S there. Tréma, the two dots, mean that you separate out two vowel sounds. So if I forgot the dots on the word for Christmas, it wouldn't be Noël anymore. It would be Noël, and that's not very pretty. Well, I mean, it's cool, but it's not Christmas. So Noël, you separate those two sounds out. Another example is naive. Naive, we pronounce the A and the E separately. Versus if I forgot the tréma, that'd be pronounced neve. That's not correct. Lastly, the cédille, that little tail on a C, it happens in front of the letters A, O, and U. If you want that k sound to be a s sound, so it makes a hard C, k, soft s in front of A, O, and U. You don't need it in front of other letters like E or I. So that's why comme si, comme ça. You don't have it on the word si, ci. And you don't have it on the word come si, comme ça, because that's a hard C sound, and I want it to stay hard. An example would be reçu. Reçu has a hard C sound, a soft C sound. If I forgot the cédille, it would be pronounced recu. Okay, thank you for listening to all of that. So if you are typing and you wanted to insert these accents, I will share this document with you so that you can copy paste whenever you want to. On most Canvas assignments, I'm going to put this at the bottom if it's something where I think you're going to write in the text box and you might need an accent, but I don't always remember to insert that, so we do need to learn how to access accent marks. Canvas is not very accent mark friendly, which is frustrating, but other apps are. So if I'm on, also I wanted to point out, if you copy something, you can always hit the control button and C to copy it. You can hit the control and the letter P to paste, control V to paste it. P is print. And if you were to copy something like from word reference, notice how when I paste it, it keeps the same formatting. If I don't want to do that, I will hit Control Shift V, and now I have it in my own usual font. But anyway, let's say I want to include an accent and I'm on Google Docs. You have two options. You can go to Insert Special Characters, and you can find what you need, or you can draw it, which I prefer to do. There you go. One thing that's even quicker than that is you can get the add-on Easy Accents. So what you'll do is go to Add-on, Get Add-ons, and this should be approved for Campbell County. You'll find it just scrolling down a little bit, or you can search for it, Easy Accents, and you'll install it. And then after you've installed it, let's see if I can close that. After you've installed it, in the future when you go to add-ons, Easy Accents will be right there. And here's what it looks like. You can do this on Google Slides as well. So I'll pick the language that I want. And then I have a little cheat sheet of accents, so as I'm typing, I can pick what I want by clicking. I have to be actually in the Google Doc, but I can click on it and get the accent mark that I want. If you are in Word, it's pretty easy as well. You'll hit Insert, Symbol, and then the more you use these accents, the more they'll pop up over here. If you don't see the one that you need, you'll click More Symbols. And then you have to scroll around to find them. They're kind of just down a little bit. You'll start to see the French ones that you need. There are other shortcuts and ways around getting accents. Those are the quickest ways I can think of right now. That's the same thing that you do in PowerPoint. You go to Insert, Symbol. Last but not least, let's say I just don't know how to do any of those things. You can always go to Google and just type in what you need. So I need an accent aigu on an E. And there you go. So I can copy it from somewhere. If you don't remember the names of the accents, maybe just type French accent marks and then you'll find them all and you can copy and paste what you need. So I hope that this helps you with using French accents in your writing. I expect you to use accent marks if the word has an accent on it. I want you to include it because that affects how the word sounds, that affects the spelling of it. It keeps you from eating meat spread instead of pasta. So I think accent marks are really important. Au revoir.